Today we're going to be looking at the new TicWatch Pro 3 GPS smartwatch, and I am not just going to sit here and talk to you about it. We're going to look up close at it, we're going to see how it works, look at the functionality, look at how smooth the operating system is with that new Snapdragon 4100 processor. We're going to look at some of the health details and the health functionality on it. Also, Mobvois claim this watch has advanced GPS. So I've done some tests on it as well, and I'll share the data on that with you. It's going to be a great review, guys. Hi all, I'm Shanebow, and this channel is all about running and technology. I just want to kick off by saying a big thank you to Mobvois for sending me the TicWatch Pro 3. I really appreciate it. They have not paid me any money though, so the opinions in the video are 100% my own. So being a runner, and I've run a few marathons now, and I did my very first ultra marathon this year, and someone who absolutely loves technology, I find this watch really interesting. So it comes with the latest Snapdragon 4100 processor, which teamed with Wear OS runs really buttery smooth, and we'll look at that in more detail in just a bit. It's got dual screen technology built in, it's got a really efficient battery on here, it's got a speaker built in so you can talk to the watch, it can talk back to you, you can make phone calls through the watch, it's got Google Pay built in so you can pay for things and you don't even need to have your phone with you. It's got a whole app store that you can download apps through. It's got heart rate monitoring as well, and a whole suite of fitness and health apps. And on top of that as well, it's obviously got the advanced GPS. So before we get into the specifications in real detail, let's have a look at the watch up close. So first off, you can see the LCD screen just there, which is on right now to save the battery time. You've still got some details on there. The sides are made from stainless steel and also plastic, and it's 12.2 millimeters thick just here, so thinner than the last TicWatch Pro that came out. If we see on the side just here, you can see the speaker. If we flip it around to the other side, you can see the microphone just there. You've got two buttons on the side. They're both very responsive. You've got the heart rate sensor on the back just there. Then on the side over here, that's your USB charging part. That just pops on just like that, and you can see it just magnets on there really well, and it's really easy to take off, but very positive. You know that that's on there, and you know that that is charging before you walk away. The watch straps are a nice pliable silicone just here. They give it kind of like a bit of a leather look with the stitching, and also it's slightly beveled on the side just there. One good thing about these is you can change the watch straps if you wanted to for a different color or a different style. They are quick release, they come off so easily. So let's talk hardware and specifications. So I think one of the first things to note is the dual screen technology. It has an AMOLED screen, and that AMOLED screen is really good quality. It's bright, the colors look really nice on here as well, but obviously that's at a cost of battery. So when you're not using the AMOLED screen, what will basically happen is it'll turn off and an LCD screen will pop up. And the LCD screen basically just has some real basic information on there for you, but it's enough information to get by. And then you can either wake the watch up by double tapping the screen, or you can set it up so you can just bring the watch face up towards you and then it will wake up that screen again. It's got auto brightness control on it, and the screen is big. It's 1.4 inches with a resolution of 454 by 454 as well. So the onboard processor is the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon Wear 4100 processor. Now, they've done two things with this processor. They've made sure that it was built specifically for smartwatches to give them a really nice, buttery smooth flow when you're going through the menus, and also for it to be really efficient on the battery. So Mobvois say that the battery is good for up to 72 hours of kind of like average use. I've definitely had around 2.5 days out of it, and I've used it for runs and I've used it for lots of smart facilities as well. So I think the battery is really good. So if you wanted to, you could actually put it into essential mode, which will basically stop all the smartwatch functions, and it will just turn it into a watch and a step counter. So 45 days that would last for. So you might think, why would I want to put it on for 45 days? Well, it might be that you're away from a charger for a few days. You might just think, do you know what, I'm not going to use the smart functions for a few days. You could put it into essential mode, and then you could go, do you know what, I want to use Google Assistant for a moment or Google Maps, and then you can just fire it straight back up just there as well. There's also a really nice handy app on your mobile phone as well, which you can actually go into, and that'll actually show you roughly what time the next day or the day after that the battery is actually going to run out. So there's lots of really thought gone into this watch around conserving power and making sure that you're getting the most out of it. So there's 1 GB of onboard RAM, and you've got 8 GB worth of storage. So that's great for downloading podcasts into or downloading a load of apps as well. It's also got NFC built in as well, which is absolutely brilliant because it means you can use Google Pay on here as well. And you don't need your phone with you when you use Google Pay either. So I've been filming myself out and about for the last few days with Google Pay, so let's see it out in the wild. So from a fitness tracking point of view, you've got it all on here. You've got your heart rate monitor, so you can track your BPM. There's an SpO2 monitor as well, so you can actually see how much oxygen is going around in your blood. That basically gives you some really good stats, especially when you're looking at sleep tracking just there. There's a barometer in here as well, so you can look at your altitude when you're out running. That's usually reserved for some of the more expensive watches. It also has an IP68 rating, which means you can take this swimming. And there's also swim tracking on here as well. So let's move on now to the operating system. We're gonna have a little look at how that works. We're gonna have a look at the functionality of the watch, the operating system, the apps. Let's get into some good detail. So we'll start off going through the operating system, and then we'll end up by making a phone call as well. So swiping down from the top gives you menu settings, and the cog gives you some more settings. Swiping over from the left just here gives you Google Assistant options and information. Swiping up gives you your notifications that have come through from your phone just there. We'll clear all of those. And then if we swipe over from the right just here, these are tiles which are customizable as well. So if we press the top right button, that takes us back to the menu. Press it again. This then takes you into your apps. So you've also got Google Play Store just there to go into downloading loads and loads more apps. That's your phone just there. We'll look at that in a moment. This is your Tic Health just here. So at a glance, you've got all your information around your health just there. Swiping back from the left, by the way, takes you back to the other screen. This is one that I've installed just as a bit of an example of what's available. It's a 7 minutes workout. So nice graphics on here as well.
Let's go. Press start to begin the first workout.
This is something else that I've installed. It's like a little pet. So there are some fun games on here as well. So it's a bit like a Tamagotchi if you have had one of those. So you've got Tic Exercise just on here. All sorts of different sports modes in there that you can do as well. You've got your pulse just there. You've got Google Maps just in case you want to bring up maps on your wrist as well. Tick sleep data. You've got this breathing app just here as well, which will actually just sit on your arm basically. Oh, it's not working right now because it's not on my arm. But actually vibrates and helps you really relax your breathing just on there. And all sorts of other apps. I really like the voice memo. I get all sorts of ideas. As I'm going around, I can just launch the voice memo and record some voice memos just on there as well. Google Pay options, your agenda. You can put the screen on as a bit of a torch if you wanted to as well. Just there. You've got some Google Fit apps on here as well as the TicWatch apps as well. Hand washing app, which will then tell you to wash your hands, which is obviously quite a big thing at the moment. We've also got some running apps that I've installed on here separately, which I'll come back to in just a moment as well. So Wear OS being from Google means you also have Google Assistant built in. So you can either say the trigger word to launch that, or you can just long press the button on the top right hand side. What is the capital of the United States of America?
Washington is the capital of the United States of America.
And you can make phone calls through it as well, instead of going through the menu on the watch. Call baby babes.
Calling baby babes, mobile.
So here's a phone call now. Hopefully you can hear that.
Hello, Daddy.
Ah, it's you. I thought it was going to be Mummy. How are you?
Good.
I love you lots.
Bye.
Bye bye, darling. Bye. And there we are. So you can make nice phone calls through the watch as well, and you can hear it absolutely fine. They can hear you absolutely fine as well. And it's one of the great features I love to show people. I just think the microphone and the speaker is a real win. And when you're showing people your new watch, it's the one thing that really does blow their mind. I remember speaking to my brother about 5-6 years ago when I had one of my first Samsung smartwatches. I said, the pinnacle will be when you can talk to your watch and it can talk back to you because it's got a speaker built in. So let's move on now and discuss the running capabilities of this watch, because it's got the advanced GPS on here and there are quite a few options for runners on here. Mobvois have done a really good job in making sure that this really does cater to runners. So let's start off by looking at that GPS information. So I've changed from map to satellite mode because that gives us a better indication of where we're actually running just there with more accuracy. So this blue turquoise line, that's the TicWatch, and the purple line just there is my Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. So you can just see how close these two are. So close, all the way through just over here. Separated a little bit just there, but they are so on track, it's unreal. So this bit just here, the Garmin's actually gone a little bit off track most likely, and the TicWatch has actually stayed on just there. We come around this corner here, I'm running on this side of the road then. You can see now the Garmin's got a little bit more of an edge here, and the TicWatch has gone just out over there. We just carry on over this road just here, look, you can see now that the TicWatch is probably more accurate just along there, but it is so close to the Garmin Fenix watch. It's absolutely unreal just there. So I'm really happy with those results. It's done a cracking job. So the GPS tracking isn't just important for your actual routes and looking at your routes. It's actually going to give you really accurate pace as well. So if you want to, over the long term, increase your pace and get faster, then you want to be able to track it accurately. And I'm really confident to say that this watch will help you out with that. So there are quite a few different running apps on the App Store to install. You've got Runkeeper, you've got Nike Run Club, you've got Strava, and you've also got pre-installed TicWatch's own TicExercise Run app. Now, my very favourite combination is to use the TicExercise Run app and sync it to Strava. So you're going to get all the stats from Strava that you'd want, but on top of that, you're going to get some really good detail whilst you're running as well. You can actually flip through the screens on the watch and see different statistics whilst you're running. But not only that as well, if the AMOLED screen's turned off and you've got the LCD screen on, you've still got some run statistics on there to look at as well. So that, for me, was the best setup. So let's summarise and wrap this up. Like many other reviewers, I'm going to say that this is, without a doubt, the best Wear OS watch you can get right now. And I think it's a really awesome smartwatch in general as well. When you consider that it's got Wear OS on here, the Snapdragon 4100 processor, it works really fluidly and really well. And I've never once had an issue with the operating system freezing or glitching or anything like that. Sometimes Google Assistant doesn't do everything I want it to. So for instance, if I want it to send a message, it won't send a message, it comes up with an error. So hopefully that'll be fixed in the future. The only other little thing that kind of lets it down that at the minute is there's no streaming music service, but Wear OS is a Google product, just like YouTube Music. YouTube Music has recently come out on the Apple Watch, so I can't see it being long before it hits this watch either. Guys, if you've enjoyed this and you've got this far, then please press subscribe. The channel's just over a year old. Pressing that subscribe button really helps me out more than you can know, and it'd be great to grow this channel together in the future. You're gonna get loads of great content as well in the future. One of my next upcoming videos is gonna be top tips for Wear OS, so you can get the most out of your Wear OS device. On top of that, I do running and other tech videos, which you're gonna love as well. And again, if you've got any questions, put them below and I will do my very, very best to get back to you. If you're considering buying one of the watches, check out the description below. I've got some links for you just there to be able to purchase the watch. There are other links just there to other videos as well that I've made. Just want to say a massive thank you for watching. Really, really appreciate it. See you again on my next video.